Testing, testing, wham bam pow, Gooby love, can you hear me now? Another reference to the Oogie Loves. So I made it to the next VidCon. I don't know if this kind of seems to be a thing where I do these annually, not annual, ENNIALLY. I'm kind of not hooked on spelling, but you get the idea. So yeah, I just got out of the line and got my badge, and now I am here to be able to come by and see you fans. I know for the most part I'll just be streaming, but I don't know if there's any in real life fans I may have, but it don't matter. Quite a difference between having over 100,000 and now, would you believe or not, close to 400,000 subscribers now. As of now, I have not broke the 400,000 barrier just because of how much I kind of slowed down or fell off track. And also for those curious, I did make a second channel where I talk about movies. I know a recent video I did on Barney's Great Adventure, that even though I posted that at least a week ago, it's already gotten 1,000 hits, but I don't know how that will translate into my next video because I don't have much traction compared to this channel. So, but yes, I have otherwise come a long way. But yeah, this also marks an occasion just because this is actually the first time I've personally driven out here. If you guys didn't know, I got my license. I'm not showing that or my car on camera, but I went and got a license, and so I was able to drive myself out here. A little constrictive. I mean, comparing to driving is like, how should I say it, like a new pair of underpants. A little constrictive at first, but it becomes a part of you. So yeah, I mean, I'm otherwise just sort of cruising around. I was gonna go on in, but I wanted to come out for a bit just so I could start the stream and say hi. I have not had anything to eat at this time. And probably matter of fact, I wouldn't be comfortable eating on camera anyway. All I had this morning was some avocado toast and a little bit of water. But yeah. So I'd be curious as to like what questions you may have for me. I know most of you are just spamming me, which is just okay, but it's the chance to be able to talk to me. Well, not really. But yeah, what's interesting for here, let me just show you. This is where the line started, where I had to go get my badge. It otherwise went by swimmingly. It goes by so fast anyway, but I thought it was gonna be like the DMV. But yeah. So yeah, it otherwise went from here all the way around this up to about there. I guess it changes every year, but you get the idea. I would like to be able to talk about my movies and other types of things up on here, but I don't know if that will translate well with you guys. What is your dream car? Well, I know I'm all for classic cars, like those are the 70s and 80s, but compared to modern cars, they don't have the necessary tools to be able to get around, like cruise control or like the auto brakes. As a matter of fact, just before I got off the freeway to the train station where I got free parking, I think the car had a sensor, or I think I must have been too close to one car, or I think I was drifting out of the lane, but I was able to slam on the brakes. I didn't crash or anything, but yeah, I mean, other than that, just went off without a hitch. Well, my car, I will say, is a Nissan Frontier. It's rather smaller than a typical one. I handpicked it at CarMax. I used the money from YouTube. Well, my dad actually paid for it. And yeah, it came specifically with 5,000 miles. I already put a couple thousand on it already. but you get the idea. But yeah, I'm all for the classic cars of the 70s and 80s. I can't like drop the name of whatever type of car at the moment, but you know, I like any of those ones. I guess it depends. Let me go around here. As you can see for here, it is packed. Hence to why I wanted to start this outside, just because it would never get quiet. I also speak of those that want to watch or talk about my movies is just because I have this one fan who's a fan of my My Little Pony movies that wants to be able to talk to me about those movies. And I would love to, but that all comes down to if there's even other fans or not. But yeah, as how I say, my passion is for film. So, I mean, YouTube is just a way to be able to pay the bills. I don't know if anybody has checked out the recent video I made about let me get out of the way. Oh yeah, just on my film journey, I posted a video on that, just talking about how I got my start with YouTube and, you know, just some things I learned. Just because not everybody knows that I also make movies. Well, of course, that's why you make another channel for that. I only got about some 640 subscribers, but I'm hoping to climb that up to the same amount as this channel. But it's a matter of consistency. In order to get something good, in order to achieve something good, it takes time, you know? I mean, I personally read a new book on YouTube statistics, and it's just a matter of just checking your audience retention, all that type of stuff. So it's nothing new, but I know my dad is real good with numbers, and he pointed out as to how my channel was falling off because I was just mainly posting movies. So in order to be able to at least get back on top to how I was in my peak days, I need to post or stream more. Why do I do destruction videos? Just for fun, and well, not just mainly for money, but also just because it's cathartic. I think I talked about it in the recent video I did. I love make animation films too. They are simple, but it's the best thing ever. I guess referring to another YouTuber. I hope you guys could hear me okay, but you know, I'm just walking around. If I have to mute the mic for any type of music, don't expect of which. I highly doubt there's people that quickly point out my shirt and acknowledge who I am, but it's fine. Gotta love horror movies. I've talked about how I have been working on a passion project at least since 2020, and I'm hoping to use that as a proof of concept for when I make my own feature film. Bam Slam Hammer should have his own booth. Maybe, but what would I even sell? I know most of you would say, destroy Jellycat. No, I'm too kind for these. I've resold a few of them. Well, if you've ever watched the Cute Parade series, you'll be able to pinpoint some of them, but I have used some of these plushies. Oh, they're usually more jumbo size than these keychain ones. But you'd be surprised at how much these could resell for, especially some of the more rare ones. I would play on that, but I don't wanna. Yeah, someone approached me and told me about Streamlabs. Well, I think because he pointed me out. It wasn't a fan or anything, but I'm just doing this through YouTube. I know Streamlabs is a way to earn money, but I guess it just depends. Did I even mention how much I don't like the new YouTube feature where basically they combined both the monetization and I guess the certain icon to where it could determine whether it's eligible or not? Well, just something on that. Well, they got rid of the monetization sign. I kind of miss it. How am I supposed to know my videos are making money or not? Well, now they're just measured by however much I'm pulling from just one video. But it's fine. Valerina asked, what type of films do I like to make? I mean, as how I've established with Ghostly Jacket, mainly horror, but I like it if it's with, like, some sort of social issue or commentary. Well, I guess it depends of which. But mainly horror, but also action, comedy, drama. I know I have written a drama, which I would like to be able to make. Well, of course, only time will tell. But it is based on a video that Mike Mozart uploaded to one of his channels, a Christmas one. Well, of course, you can't find that video anymore except for uploads. But, you know, I always like the idea of the supernatural, just to telling those type of stories. But I want it to be just more than just that. Well, just your typical, like, ghost story, but have, like, I don't know, how should I say, just some more substance than just ghost haunting somebody, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I know action also just, it kind of helps if I blend subgenres. But I know for the new My Little Pony movie, Full EQ Contact, I've put a hold on that so I could finish the Ghostly Jackets. I am still shooting part 8. The only thing I haven't shot is mostly the scenes with Surya, who is the main star. So I haven't shot any of those yet, but you know, once I can be able to get those in the can, then I'm going to move on to the last one, the last entry, part 9. And you know, hopefully I might be able to have a more professional crew on that. Well, I doubt of which, but I know an actor who knows people in contact, so maybe there's a chance it might be more professional quality, but you get the idea. But that's on the condition that you guys watch him or not. I have eaten McDonald's, but I have not in the past number of years. I know there was one period where we didn't eat for literally 3 straight years as a kid, and I missed it. But, I mean, that type of stuff is bad anyway. I eat almost entirely clean. That's sort of the thing, just an all-clean diet, tons of water, and tons of walking. 20 to 30,000 steps, we're talking. I hope we see a popular YouTuber. Maybe. It seems like I'm not popular enough. Only time will tell. Try to keep an open mind anyway. There's a lot of people streaming. I haven't checked the schedule, Matthew, but I guess it just depends of which. I mean, I'm only here just to see fans, but not go to panels. But, I mean, only time will tell. I mean, I think I am scheduled for one, which is a mentorship a little after, but it's not up until towards the end of the day. So I'll stay on as long as I can. As long as you guys want. But yeah, all the comments are just spam for other kids' shows, fidget friends, and more Thomas. Just nothing informal or, just whatever. Flushed away. I know I did have a flushed away Happy Meal toy, and I remember seeing the movie when it came out, but I specifically remember of which just those toys, just because my mom once woke me for school using the frog toy that croaked. Oh, God. I have no idea what that is. I seem to be uncultured. Can we talk about how I have not seen a frame of K-pop Demon Hunters or Stranger Things Season 5? I'm trying to catch up on 2025 and then into 2026 as far as movies go. Jackson's audience, watch his films. They are amazing. I watched Destin, now I must watch Ghostly Jacket. Good for you. That one in particular, it translates to drawing. I did that specifically as part of my portfolio to get into the impacted film program at San Diego State. I went to San Diego State for film and have been postgraduate since 2024. And this is what I do. I told about how on the video I posted that I didn't confine with what I was doing to anybody at my school other than just one film professor, but he encouraged me to continue pursuing it. And yeah, even though I've kind of fallen off, I think it's all for the best anyway. I have no idea who any of these people are. BK3 asked, when did you first make these videos? Well, I think it just started just from watching other YouTubers like Dovetastic. But I don't think I started pursuing it for pleasure up until maybe at the most 2014 or so, 13 or 14. Well, I mean 2014 at most. But it just started out with me just drawing toys out of my bedroom. But then afterwards, I just started buying stuff from eBay.
I texted
But yeah, I mean, my story is not that unique. I'm just mainly just sit around watching a lot of YouTube and observing other people's lives. I know, speaking of which, like, I remember the days to when there was the Teletubbies craze, I mean, I was watching a ton of those videos, and I mean, stumbled across ones in particular where I guess just based on the music used, it's kind of become part of my, not exactly my culture, but, just it's sort of integrated into my life. I just listen to it, but usually it's just for other things, or whatever the case may be. Just if I'm, let's just say, working or writing a script and wanting to put some music in, those are kind of like my go-tos. It's just something of that. Thomas and Friends motorized toys, please. One more won't make any difference, Rebecca. I just found a video of the Just Play Hokey Pokey Elmo, and it looks like hot dog crap compared to the old one. Perhaps if I'm feeling lucky, maybe I might do a destruction video on that, but I don't want to just do repeats of toys from days gone by. So at that point, it doesn't need to be destroyed. It's so bad. Yeah. Somebody else will catch up on that. I already did it with Thomas and Friends, well, All Engines Go. So I've already done away with that. I know I shouldn't keep the mic on, but, there's just not much here. I mean, it's good to get ambient sound anyway. What toys do you have planned next? Well, I mean, mostly trying to catch up on yours, Matthew, but I'm trying to get up to at least 600. Well, not that I would cut off the requests from there, but I mean, I guess the plan is just to go for however long as I can. I know I do have it planned for 1 million subscribers to do a short film on something. Well, I know that'll be one of my destruction videos coming up soon, but it's probably, let's just say it's kind of the catalyst for what kind of led me down this path of doing destruction, or, just being fascinated with the whole idea of seeing things getting destroyed. Probably most of you know the show. It's a cartoon, and it's kind of something that's jumped the shark. But yeah, I have the idea in my head. I have not written the script, but I know it'll definitely sort of take on a sort of cinematic approach to my channel. Well, I mean, I don't want it to be completely meta, but, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I think it's better just to surprise them with what you do than just say the ideas. Because if I just say with what it is, it just sounds foolish. But I want to keep those hyped up anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm going there now.
Actually,
There is literally nothing else to hear, to sort of seek out for here, and I don't know why. VidCon fell off. I thought when I first walked in, when I was going to the registration line, I heard somebody scream my name, but I could assume it was another Jackson. Just if you guys wanted to know. Screw you, AI. AI voices. Look, it's fine if you take advantage of AI for writing, but not to take full advantage of which. If you notice me wobbling the camera, that's just because I'm trying to undo the tripod thing. Roddy wants me to write his YouTube name, or their. You're welcome, Roddy Official Channel and Asteroid Lord. I don't think I could do the Jake one because I didn't see it up until after. Jake White 493. I'm gonna get out of the way here. Can you see it? Help, I'm a fish. I'm gonna move on from here. It's a little chaotic, but I got my name. It's otherwise quite boring anyway. I mean, there's things happening, but, just not a whole lot. There's some sort of tennis game going on. 11-is. It's from an old comedian by the name of Victor Borg. Instead of tennis, we say 11-is. I only just knew of him specifically just because of Nancy Cartwright doing a phonetic punctuation sort of thing. And so I had to look him up. These look interesting. I mean, just things that you draw on. I know I have a few of these, just not the marbles.
Help! I'm a fish.
Oh, here's one where I'm eligible. I'm probably years older than most of the fans probably watching this here. I thought it was gonna fly on out. Actually smells a bit like those little Wonka things, or the little fun dips. It kind of smelled like that for a moment. Does Ian England want to talk about my Little Pony movies? I'm more than happy to, anyway. I want to go get something to eat. Well, but I just wasn't too sure. I'm just walking around up until maybe I recognize somebody or somebody recognizes me, but I know you have to initiate that. I won't expect to find Plain Rock this time, wherever he is, but I know just because he has personal troubles. But no relation to that. You definitely are. I'm a high schooler. I've graduated in 2018, so there's that. Nobody will remember me then, nobody remembers me now. What the hell is going on? Starting shit. least you have to do something better with your time than just piss people off. Well, I mean, I do it with toys, but then again, I'm not punching people or just tackling them. I just got tacos from a food truck a while ago. That's why I was gone. What time is it for you right now? 2:13. So it's about 3-hour difference. I'd probably have more fans if I did this on the weekend, but then again, I only attend VidCon just one day. So it's tough. What state is this in? California. I'm gonna move out here. I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'm not gonna quit the stream, but you know, only time will tell. I need hydration. My eyes burn. Not too bad.
So this is electrolyte water?
This doesn't have aspartame, does it?
No.
Okay. Let me just see if
This is our lemon lime. It's like a flat Sprite.
Oh,
Very good.
yeah.
$2 a bottle. And then
Okay.
we got our grapefruit. You want to try all three of them for free?
Cheaper than smart water.
That's it. We're the cheapest one in the market right now.
Okay.
We got a grapefruit. This one's more like a frost.
They have them right here.
The white one. Kind of right?
Yeah, I think the lime one is better, but I'm gonna try this one here.
Zero sugar.
I can like take it. My artist name is DRGM. It's cheaper than smart water.
Yeah, I like the lemon and lime one the best.
So you can find us in any of the local stores around the area, or you can go to our website right here and order us directly.
Certainly.
Through the website today and tomorrow we're doing a bonus with buy one case you get one free.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not looking at you right now just because the sunscreen's in my eyes, so it's hard to see. No, it's fine. I'm gonna just have another one of these to go.
You create content?
Yeah, content creator. I thought somebody just said my name. Maybe. But yeah, I just got hydrated.
No, I know.
I don't know where to eat, but only time will tell. Let me just mute this here. I have watched only 2 episodes of Digital Circus, and I have, believe it or not, in my watch later history, but I have not checked them out yet. Sorry. But yeah, I've been willing to watch them, but just I know I'm too busy with other things anyway. What's the chance I could score food here just because no one's around? But then again, they're just setting up. take a moment of silence to observe the kazoo. I had my my sound turned off. Why did I say music? I only turn it off just so I don't have to have music, but music? Just mixing things up. I'm just trying to read the comments. I destroy toys mainly for, well, not just to pay the bills, but also just to fund films and that kind of thing. Somebody asked if I should make my own VidCon booth and just sell the souvenirs, like all the toys I destroyed, like the decapitated Elmo. I have a couple YouTube shorts to where I was just caught on camera by someone, and that's me.
52? Are you another Axiom creator by chance?
Well, with what I was trying to say is, I have posted a few shorts of my VidCon ventures, into which, well, I was caught on candid camera. Well, for here, it was just somebody that was just simply going around the convention, and while they were distracted with, well, when the guy was filming the kid with one of the plushies, just telling people to subscribe, I then decided to take the opportunity to photobomb, and I used my little destruction mascot thingamajig. And in the mascot was the Elmo head. So, and well, of course you could see it in its entirety, but I have it up in my shorts. I'm gonna just go by for here real quick, hold on. I'm gonna find somewhere to sit so I can at least eat. Of course, I'm not showcasing myself on camera just because I'm not a mukbanger. But I will stay for those that want to chat. Yeah, so you guys just caught that for here. I finally got a fan. Literally an hour into this stream. He was trying to get a bunch of YouTubers to sign some things. So that's a first for me. I've only had one. This may be the only one I have today. I'm gonna turn the mic off for here so I could eat. I'm not showing myself on camera, but I'm just having my little poke bowl. Do you love Poland? Well, I've been to like some parts in Europe, but I wouldn't say just because I don't really have much to reflect on. I haven't been to Poland. Just wanted to come back on here. I was just eating. So, No Odyssey 2SD asked how was high school for me? Well, I don't think if anything to write home about. I mean, a lot of my time was just otherwise being an introvert. I mean, I had classmates, but not exactly platonic. And I mean, I otherwise don't like to remember too much. Nothing bad in general, but, if otherwise forgetful. Well, but mostly just because of my struggles with trying to socialize and get people of interest. Well, I mean, just because I was passionate with movies. I mean, I still am. Of course, I got backstage, so I don't have to worry about trying to find people, cast actors. But at the time in high school, I kind of very much struggled. And so I kind of soared too high with expectations of just finding people of interest. I mean, just in film, you know, just because I was passionate with filmmaking, but I mean, I still am, but, you know, I otherwise struggled. Well, it wasn't up until eventually in college, well, it wasn't up until I got into San Diego State to when eventually I got access to Backstage. And Backstage has really helped me just with casting, because all I wanted was just actors, and I didn't always want to act in my movies. So if you want to know what high school was like, that was just it mainly. But I don't think it's really anything to write home about, other than maybe just the homecomings and the fact that I didn't really socialize or anything. Yeah, I pretty much just was the quiet kid, as you would imagine. I mean, not just the one that just sort of wants to go commit murder or something, but you can imagine otherwise. But I mean, I was otherwise secure with what I'm doing. I'm secure with what I'm doing online, and yeah, but you know, just that kind of thing. Well, I don't think I started coming out of my shell up until maybe about my senior year, but you know, that was that. I didn't know anybody else that shared the same interest as much as the few friends I had. I only had a few friends in high school, but mostly those from middle school. Just some spam from Donota on just random facts or just things in general, just hyperfixation. I mean, I'm not that cultured, but I mean, it doesn't hurt anyway. Even if it's, I mean, it's supposed to be informal anyway, but just not like random facts. I'm gonna go back in just a bit. I need some water. I really picked that pokey truck just because it was the only one that was unsupervised. And personally, I don't like to be out here too long. Even though I have sunscreen on, I mean, it's otherwise dissipated after a while. But I mean, I know I'm burnt just when I feel it, you know? I mean, I'm just going through the comments just on ones that related to fidget friends. Well, just on certain things. It would look cool if it was destroyed with Groovin' Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe. I remember when I went to Japan, I was going through a Shitu shrine, looking at gates and stuff. I felt like I was going to have a heat stroke because I didn't have a drink. Well, now you know. I mean, yeah, you usually carry a water bottle with me, but I didn't want to bring it with me into the car and have it swish around, because usually it would help if I have something propped up against it so that way it doesn't roll around all over the place and potentially spill in my truck. It's otherwise quiet around here. Who cares about your World War II fan fiction? As if I forgot it. How do I... Oh, whatever. I'm sorry this has to happen, but it's just a way to moderate. I know one user said, when you're finished, go back in and give us a look at that sign again. The VidCon one. Well, I will, but of course I know it's on there, but I would have to otherwise go back and rewind. I'd be lucky if I have some more encounters. Yeah, I mean, I always got nothing left. Well, in my bowl. Guess from here I'll just start moving again. I'm slipping the bag on. I am not interested in the World Cup or any of this sort of Poland stuff. I wouldn't F it unless if it was an F an emergency. Let me throw this out real quick. I have maybe about 4 other ones that are members besides Matthew, but you know, Matthew's always the one that gets the most attention. I was told to re-enter through A. You're welcome, fans. I'm seeing a lot of these. I don't know if it's like World of Warcraft cosplay or something, but just there's a lot of those going around. Even those that just have name tags on their heads. But yeah, I'm just gonna go back on in and have a look at the VidCon sign for those interested anyway. I would like to be able to talk on more on my movies if any of those are interested, or specifically Ian, England, but I guess I'll have to wait. these remind me of a specific nostalgic toy I used to have, or just these collectible action figures. Let me know if you guys think I should go into the live podcast studio. For those who want to know where I've signed, just for those that joined on the stream or not, ponies. This is probably the highlight of my day. Even though I'm not as ardent with My Little Pony, you could still otherwise watch those films. But yeah, I mean, for those curious, I did a bunch of My Little Pony crime movies when I was about 11 or 12. And I did about 3 other ones. And so I am basically trying to wrap up the story. Well, in which case it's not centered on just My Little Pony, but it's actually more on just original characters. Case in point, I had it to where, well, I mean, when making the movies, I wrote it with no real plot. I mean, a lot of story, but just not any particular plot, but mostly on just the ponies, like fighting crimes and things like that. But for here, I wanted to sort of fill in the gap of like who essentially would have been the one that was the precipitator of those, how should I say, just all the well, like Minions, all these different vigilante groups, just different plushies going after the ponies. And so it wasn't up until I had the advantage of ChatGPT to when I decided, okay, this might be cooler to have it like this, to where essentially this puppeteer, well, it's actually of I forget the bear's name at the moment, a gloomy bear. It would all come down to this gloomy bear, well, named Puppeteer, and he would be the one that would be responsible for essentially going after the ponies and spawning these different vigilante groups to go after him, as well as taking Lancelin under his wing. Well, I played Lancelin in the movie, well, in these movies, but essentially as an undercover cop is told to go and seek out the ponies. And so I wanted to fill in the blanks of just what I established in the first 3 to 4 movies. Because I figured it just wouldn't make sense to have it to where it's just like, well, he would be a juvenile delinquent if he was a cop. So I had it written in for the 5th movie, for parts 5 and 6, to where essentially he would be taken in under the puppeteer's wing, and would, I guess it would have helped to explain just the overarching plot threads of the other movies. But for here, I'm essentially just trying to wrap up the series. I already finished 5 and I'm finishing up 6. I have shot the footage, but I have not edited it yet. And I do have ideas concerning for like more entries, like perhaps like a spinoff where I would have Spike take over the role. But then again, it would just sort of be a matter of time. And also, I don't know if a concern of copyright issues. Well, even though it's all original, I think not just that, but I think it would be a matter of like trying to get the story right. I do have ideas, but I don't want to just give the green light without having a real sense of direction of, I guess, what to expect and where to take the series. But as far as I know, I think it's best if I just end it right at about part 5 through 6, just because I think it's a good way to sort of wrap up the story arc. But yeah, as far as to what it was like making those movies, I know for the most part, it all just simply started from the fact I got a McDonald's Happy Meal toy of Rainbow Dash from my speech teacher, and I thought it would be a cool idea to be able to take it and make a movie out of it. So hence to why I made those My Little Pony movies. It was just because of a prize I got in speech therapy, because I had an IEP and I had to be pulled out of class occasionally for speech and whatnot. And so I got that, I handpicked it out of the prize drawer. And so I thought to make a movie out of that. And so eventually I got the other figurines and finished the movie from there. But, I got those separate. Don't know if I should go here or go there. Maybe just back over here. So, but yeah, it's otherwise not that unique, but it just came from the fact I got a Happy Meal toy and I just decided to make a movie. And as far as influences, I think the segue I was trying to go for here. Well, the segue is, like, when I was making the movie, I had it in mind to do it sort of like the Chow Yun-fat Hong Kong heroic bloodshed movies. And so even though my only sort of point in reference was from the trailers. Well, I didn't really have the slightest idea as to with what made those popular, but other than, I mean, now having seen those movies, I actually saw the Better Tomorrow as a reissue. I mean, even though I've seen it plenty of times on YouTube, I can't even enumerate how many times I've seen that movie. But, well, now having, pretty much caught the gist of those movies, those Better Tomorrow movies, those heroic bloodshed movies, I can kind of see, I guess, how the pony movies sort of have that influence. Well, not just that influence, but how, I mean, it kind of is its own thing, but, I made it with that in mind, just using the Better Tomorrow films or just any of the Chow Yun-fat movies as a sort of template. But yeah, I mean, that kind of thing. And so I just made the movies like so, just because of the unaccountable time I had in grade school. I mean, I think I've talked about how I used to carry a camera everywhere I would go and just videotape whatever. And so, well, that was one of the few outlets I had, was just simply going around with my video camera and just filming around with wherever I was. That kind of thing. So, and pretty much that's just how the movie was formed. I think just from my public outings, shaped in general, and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know anything else to really say or what to really talk about, just because I'm kind of sort of rambling on. But those movies in particular, they just came from just how I have seen just those heroic bloodshed movies and sort of modeled them after that. Well, even though in which case it mostly just has a lot of just fake blood and all kinds of nonsense, but that's what I was trying to go for, just mostly from those heroic bloodshed movies. And I think also just wanting to have a human story in there. Well, like how I said, I filmed it with no real plot. A lot of story, but no real plot. And so, essentially, with what I'm trying to do with the last two movies, with what I did with Part 5 and what I'm trying to do with Part 6, well, you can see these on YouTube. Ponies on Fire and Full EQ Contact is essentially just trying to tie up the series in sort of a two-story arc, but also in a way to where, taking some inspiration from Equestria Girls, just because I know Equestria Girls didn't really have a proper finale, so it's kind of my interpretation of which, although in which case it doesn't use any clips, and it tells my own story and has my own characters, so that kind of thing. But yeah, that's essentially, for those that were interested in my pony movies, those specifically Ian England, I mean, I could probably talk about them much better at length in another live stream if I can, but I just wanted to get the point out there. I know I'm kind of just, half there, but I hope otherwise it answers that question of just with what it was like. But yeah, I mean, just otherwise sort of modeling just those films after, not just the heroic bloodshed movies I had seen, just little glimpses of the Better Tomorrow movies, but also from other plush YouTubers. Like, I used to watch a lot of Cute Mario Brothers. I mean, of course, I caught on to Super Mario Logan a little bit later. I think about the time I gotten terminated, and so I had to start afresh. I went to those videos, and those were the golden years. Whereas I know that golden years would be a little bit more before 2015, but at least just before YouTube filed a cease and desist on the channel. So I have not read the comments just because I've been talking for however long. I should probably get something to drink, but then again, I've already walked past the vending machines, or I just don't have a sense of where they are. Go buy anything but no Bam Slam gadget. Well, what would I even buy?
Tell her she better get better at her practice.
Your golden years were in 2017 or 2018. You know, I have to agree just because I know I was getting my start. But yeah, I think I'm particularly proud of just about the time of 2018 because I know it was at the time to where I was leaving high school. So, and I think I was just otherwise just getting my start from there. But I think maybe a little bit later on, but I know for the most part, just at least 2018, just because I was just getting my start. Well, of course, some other things, but, you know. I don't know what else to say. I keep walking past all these TikTokers and whatnot. Of course, I'm not TikTok famous, well, even though it's the fastest way to get your point across. But yeah, well, probably at most for like my peak years in 2018. I mean, that's kind of when I started picking up. Well, the next year when I did the word rammer, and I know most of you will probably start spamming me with word rammer and whatnot, but you know, I don't care. You know, I've already done too many of those videos, and it's just kind of a matter of like, every time I make a new one, you guys want another. So I'm not doing any more of those if you're going to ask me for another word rammer. But yeah, I know just for that one, that was the one that put my channel on the map. Well, I haven't really replicated that success ever since. So, I mean, it's kind of difficult to. I'm gonna mute this for here because I think I hear some copyrighted music. This song is copyrighted. I must replace it. I want to go out to the balcony. I'm going out onto the balcony. I'm going onto the balcony. I am looking at the moon. I am looking at the moon. Pink Panther reference, by the way. After 10 seconds, I go back on in. I go out for a second time. I'm looking at the moon. Looking at the moon. Some seconds go by and I go back on in. I forget the rest of the lines just because I can't close out this without accidentally closing out the stream, you know. I was making a Pink Panther reference. Well, that's sort of another thing I could comment on for here. Well, one of my niches is the Pink Panther movies. And so I told about how I have a second channel called Action Jackson. I've talked about some of the lesser known entries in the series. I mean, I'm open to talking about, well, what other scenes that were cut from the scripts. But I touched up on Curse and Son of the Pink Panther. Well, I mean, they tried to reboot the series without Peter Sellers, and it didn't really go over so well. Well, the scripts that I've read, you know, they had some stuff in particular that actually helped to flesh out, you know, just basic sort of plot threads and details that otherwise didn't make sense in the theatrical cut. You I think just a little bit more concerning, like Sergeant Slay. Well, in Curse of the Pink Panther, Clouseau goes missing, and Sergeant Slay ends up becoming the new Clouseau. And so, although the film is fine, I don't know if it would have helped to where they should have just combined the two, well, Trail and Curse of the Pink Panther as one movie. So you have it to where Clouseau goes missing and it would account for the missing footage. Well, just all that deleted footage being woven into the story. Well, I mean, just to showcase how he goes missing. And then having a Clouseau-like detective tracking down the French detective. Well, in the movie, he essentially, well, in Trail of the Pink Panther, it's a little half-assed, but, he essentially boards a plane, well, to Lugash, the foreign country, to seek out the Pink Panther, and it ends up disappearing. And so, yeah, the rest of it just sort of plays out like a clip show of just some of his best scenes. But yeah, I mean, it just makes you think if they would have just combined both films, Trail and Curse, just because whereas Trail is half-assed, I feel that Curse of the Pink Panther has more bite to it. So if they combine the two, then it probably would have at least got a broader point across. I think it would have fleshed out the story way better. But, I mean, with where it is what it is, I guess. But, I mean, for those that are curious, I mean, you're more than happy to check out those videos up on my main channel. Oh, I think that... Thank you. I had a happy little accent there. I hope this is the place where I be able to network. Well, then again, I'm just focused on the stream anyway. But yeah, I have a second channel, and I go into depth talking about just some of those Pink Panther movies. Well, just the last two lesser known entries, Curse and Sun, and just reading the scripts. And I know for a matter, let me just go past for here. So when reading the scripts, I know that sometimes they have things in there that actually help to flesh out things better, but I know just because of time and budget constraints, I mean, oftentimes those things are cut. Well, not just time and budget, but also because of studio meddling, studio interference, like things like that just happen. They'll focus group the movie, and then like they'll get a score and then make changes based on which. So with Son of the Pink Panther's case, well, I'll tell you about my senior year English teacher in a bit. He was also my sophomore. But, well, case in point, like for Son of the Pink Panther's script, it's the same movie, except it helps to flesh out the legacy of Clouseau much better. Well, in which case, if it was actually just kept like so, like unaltered, as opposed to the current version that's available, and how nobody is talking about this, lost media is beyond me. I'm like the only person that knows the specific niche. But originally, they had it to where they had Clouseau's legacy just sort of interwoven into the story with Clouseau having an illegitimate son. And so it would open the same with Princess Yasmin getting kidnapped, but just after the credits, it would transition to a whole Clouseau Day celebration. And it was an elaborate sequence. Well, if you would even be able to get a hold of the Blu-ray, well, because the Blu-ray is the only way to see the original trailer and some of the cut scenes, as well as the featurette. But there was an entire sequence that was shot where there was a whole Clouseau Day celebration, and they had, well, just the way it's described in the script, it just has a bunch of people dressed up in Clouseau costumes, and there's a Clouseau monument that's put in place. I mean, in the movie, it only comes up one time, but, this is how they establish it early on. But, just, I guess, for something of which that ended up on the cutting room floor. But, there would just be this Clouseau Day celebration, and, like, cast members from prior movies, like Cato and August Balls, would be interviewed in the studio about their time with Clouseau. And about the time that Dreyfus would arrive on the scene, he's thrashed into a sort of conga dance, and then comes across Maria Gambrelli by the statue. And the news crew captures the moment into which it's explained about how this mysterious woman constantly goes by and leaves flowers by the Clouseau statue, but leaves before they were able to get any word out of him. And so then it would lead to Dreyfus and his assistant Francois being hailed into an emergency meeting with the president about the recent kidnapping. And then the rest of the movie would just play out like so, but just with extensions here and there, just sort of emphasizing a little bit more with not just the political intrigue, but I think just some other moments to where it would have helped to flesh out Jacques Gambrelli's character much better. And, well, there's another scene that happens, another Clouseau bit, with Clouseau's ghost, I should say, where after he's placed in a car bomb and he ends up falling out of the truck before it explodes, he rolls down the hill and he comes face to face with the specter of his ghost. And so this revelation would cause him to faint. And then when he wakes up later in the hospital, then he asks his mother, Maria Gambrelli, about his dream. And then she tells him the truth. But, I mean, matter of the fact, just in as much as how a lot of it wouldn't have been necessary and probably would have made the film too long, it really is a true to life to read. I think it would have helped sort of elevate the film much better than just with how it was. Yes, it is lost media, but nobody's talking about it. Son of the Pink Panther. Go on Lights, Camera, Action Jackson and check out those Pink Panther videos. You'll be able to get the whole sort of story behind it, or just of the script summary. But yeah, I otherwise was just fascinated with it, and the fact that nobody was talking about it. If I am feeling it, I could also get a hold of some of the other scripts, like Return of the Pink Panther up to maybe Revenge. Whereas, I know they had scenes in those that, I know Peter Sellers would improvise a lot on those movies, and a lot of the stuff that he would improv would end up on the cutting room floor. And so, I know that some scenes are outlined in the script, those that supposedly were filmed, but supposedly no footage of which has come up. And so I'd be curious if any of those will want to be able to hear about those, because I'd be more than happy to. And I'll also provide pictures, just because I've tracked down pictures of some of these cut scenes. But it all comes down to whether I have an audience for my niche or not. But, I would love to be able to talk more on those Pink Panther movies. I've already covered, like how I say, Curse and Son, but just reading the scripts. And also going off of, exploring just about every canceled Pink Panther script that there was. Like, I know one, there was a Broadway musical that almost got made, and then there was the one that would have served as the finale for the series, which would have followed Revenge, and then another one which would have been a spin-off of the series with Dudley Moore as the new cast member, but all that was canceled out. And yeah, I lost my train of thought for there, but it just otherwise sort of the plans for which fell through, but a lot of the ideas in particular were integrated into Betrayal and Curse of the Pink Panther, you know, just with Clouseau going missing and then having a new detective tracking down the French detective. Well, I mean, for here in the spinoff, the new detective would be the helm of the series, but Clouseau, well, following on from this unproduced script, Romance of the Pink Panther, essentially Clouseau would turn into the antagonist. But, of course, because Peter Sellers succumbed to heart problems and the fact he wasn't willing to rewrite the script, even though he had revisions of which plans of which fell through. I mean, if you go on to my second channel, then you'll be able to have more of a broader understanding than just me just trying to explain. But since I'm asked to explain, I'll just try to explain. But yeah, well, I wanted to get back to the no Odyssey Tube SD question or remark about how my English teacher would be proud. Well, going outside. There you go.
Thank you. You too. Go.
Okay. Where is Plain Rock? I'm gonna go back over here, but I wanted to talk about my English teacher. Well, I know back in high school, like, because I had such a fixation on the My Little Pony series, I used to be nicknamed Pony Boy. And so, I mean, otherwise didn't care for which. I mean, not that it was anything irksome, but, you know, I just otherwise went with it. But, you know, because I used to talk about it and wear t-shirts. And so he used to call me Pony Boy. And I know for a fact this is where I also showed some of my destruction videos. Well, at the time, I had gotten back from Mexico. And, well, because we went out there for vacation and we blew up a few toys because I had a couple toys. I think it was like a leap top and then the Leapfrog Alphabet Pal. And so I blew those up in Mexico and I showed the video back to my class, and, you know, I guess just because in a way we were to just sort of talk about with what we did over the summer and just a showcase of which, something of that. But, you know, I would say he is proud, but, you know, I guess whatever you put it at, but it's fine. I'm getting requests to do, like, the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, I usually go with cheaper things, but I mean, I'd be open to doing it, assuming Plain Rock hasn't done it. But I mean, I don't destroy electronics. I mean, I can, but, you know, I usually destroy something for parts. And matter of fact, well, in relation to, I know somebody asked about if anybody's seen the new Toy Story. I have not seen Toy Story 5. I did rewatch the live action one just yesterday, and I'm still enthralled. Well, I mean, just for here, I kind of appreciate it more from a story perspective, but, you know, yeah, I mean, just when you compare the early films compared to the sequels that are out, I don't know if those seem better, but, you know, at least they have a complete story arc and beats and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it works. So I don't feel the need as to why they would need to do more. Well, I mean, I get how, because they want to be able to commentate on, like, technology and things like that. You know, I did watch the Toy Story 5, well, in 10 minutes video, where supposedly somebody bootlegged the video or bootlegged the movie, but of course somebody downloaded it and sped it all the way up to 10 minutes. And so it kind of just gives you the TLDR of the whole movie. But yeah. And supposedly, just if you consider the reviews on which Toy Story 5 compared to the other films, I mean, I don't know if it's a sign to where it just should have been, they should have stopped maybe at about 3 or 4. I don't know. I mean, I did watch 4 later, but, you know, I don't know if it was probably just better off if they just ended it at 3. And like how I say, like the only way that they could at least wrap up the series is just tell Andy's dad's story. Just because I think it's just the only way just to be able to sort of round everything off and, you know, just show as to how Andy personally came in contact with Woody, you know? Disney needs to set foot off the live action remakes and stick to sequels that are actually needed, but not Toy Story. Agreed. Can simply just walk around it. I'm gonna go back inside. Let me like Tangled 2 or Smith. Well, I know it's abbreviation for something, but I just can't think of which. What is Smith? I don't know. I'm getting a lot of highs, but, you know, just nothing really informal aside from occasional YouTubers, but if not really, not much to write home about. I know that like beverages are in there, and so it's kind of like tough SHIT if I want to get a water, just because everybody's in there for another thing. I'm gonna go back in. Yeah, I'm surprised as to how big this place is and however many times I've looped through here than I've wanted to. Anyway. I wish that was me. Yeah, you guys didn't hear that, but they just put on Rick Ashley. Classic YouTube. Of course, I couldn't have it up on here just because we get third-party matched. Matthew wanted to ask about, going back to talking about sequels, have you seen the Shrek 5 trailer yet or no? I did watch the teaser, but I didn't have a look at the recent one. I mean, personally, I have not watched Shrek since, believe it or not, Shrek the Third. I have not watched part 4, but, I know that was supposed to be the finale, but of course they're continuing it. Well, I guess it just depends of which, but I know it's just for fans, but I guess it just depends on with wherever you stand as far as those movies are concerned. I know some say they've, just like many other film franchises, it's kind of jumped the shark, but, you'll know when enough's enough. I know there's a thing happening over here, but I doubt I'm any interested in that. I only just want to meet fans, and that's it. Oh my God. He's got a lily pad. Quick, hide! I destroyed a lily pad. It's a different one. I've already been up and down here like so many times. Shrek the Third was the least liked of the set of movies. Yeah, I think majorly because of the babies, but I mean, it's a way to continue the series anyway. I remember actually seeing that when it came out, and that was the only recent one I saw. I only remember it specifically because right afterwards, when we were leaving the theater, I pointed out the Simpsons movie poster and we all got pictures by it. Clearly the better movie of that year. Well, of course, if you account for all the slop that we get now, just the movie sequels and the movies back then, over 15 to 20 years, seems much better in comparison to now. I remember hearing a lot about those in elementary school, early middle school. Or I should say through. Shrek 5 has a lot of potential. Yeah, I mean, with how I feel with the SpongeBob movies, like, I did watch 2. I haven't seen the other 2, including the recent one. I did see Five Nights at Freddy's about that time, well, Five Nights 2, and for the beginning of the movie, there was a family that walked in, well, just after the girl gets killed by, not Springtrap, it was the puppet one, well, the puppet animatronic, and so the family walked in, well, and then they left after, but I remember just sort of glancing over the vomitorium, the entryway, just making sure that they wouldn't come back in, but turns out that they were seeing the SpongeBob movie right next door, the recent one. And I did actually try the SpongeBob burger from Burger King. I could taste the turmeric, but yeah, otherwise didn't care. I mean, because I don't eat much burgers these days, but I know, otherwise was fine. We needed the bite of 87 for FNAF or FNAF 2. I will say that FNAF 2 was much better in comparison to 1. I saw it with my friends, well, who were big Five Nights fans. And so, like, let me tell you, when that Carmen suit came on, like, I knew with what I was in for. And I was kind of excited. I was like, that's what the first movie should have been. But, you know, of course, they always say the sequels are better than the first. I mean, you might as well top it if the first movie's bad. But, you know, with whatever comes for 3, I don't know if it's a sign to where sometimes the quality of which starts to dip, you know, to where the income that's made, I mean, it's not always a guarantee after, but, you know, I know for certain for part 3, Springtrap will most likely be at the helm. Burger King put more effort into theirs. Yeah, I did also have the one from Wendy's, and the Wendy's was so-and-so, but I will definitely say the Burger King one was better. You guys can't even tell, but I'm just holding a water bottle. So that's why, if you notice I'm sort of jiggling this around. It's just because I'm trying to, like, onesie-twosie, but it doesn't help. Yeah, well, with what I was saying for the SpongeBob movies, I did rewatch the first one, but it was a reanimated version, whereas they had different animators and filmmakers collaborate on that. Well, I know certain movies do that. And, well, I watched the sequel, and let's just say, I mean, even though I did see the trailers back in the day, I didn't go and see it up until I rented it later, but just for that, it kind of just doesn't compare with the first movie. It just doesn't have the same charm. It's just kind of the same thing with Deadpool 2, It doesn't have that same charm. Did I swear on here? Somebody said, watch your mouth. Lore? Yeah. But as I was saying, 2 was fine, but near as noteworthy as 1. I know I'll probably say the same thing for certain franchises, but I don't know. I guess it depends of which. I know for like other franchises I'm looking forward to, other sequels. Like for this year, we're getting another Insidious, but that won't be up until at least within the, how should I say, in the late third quarter of this year, maybe before the fourth quarter. But yeah, that's how I say August. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. But I mean, as far as sequels are concerned, like they did away with 1 and 2, and then they had a cliffhanger ending with that, where supposedly there's a girl in a wheelchair that supposedly is overcoming the same demon as a past, recipient. Well, Tyler Simpkins' character. And so I was really hoping that there would be a follow-up on that, but that there hasn't been. And I know that the 2 movies that followed were all prequels, and then a 5th one, which was a direct sequel, but I mean, it otherwise just kind of went straight into the other. Well, when it went back to the Lambert family, but it didn't really address with what happened with that cliffhanger of 2. And so I just hope for Insidious 6 that there's at least some influence of that, or if they're maybe just saving that just to expand upon the universe, or maybe for the potential spin-off thread. But I mean, just making us wait, I mean, especially since however long it's been since part 2 has come out, is not good. I would like to know, and the fans would like to know right away, what happened at the end of part 2. Of course, it wouldn't be possible to get Jenna Ortega back just because she's grown up, considering how young she was in Insidious 2. So, of course, they could easily just recast her, but then again, it just wouldn't be the same. I don't know. I mean, whether they'll do something with 6, only time will tell. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to that, and I know that there's another Terrifier, even though I know that supposedly there's some legal issue going around. But, at some point it's going to get shot and made, but yeah. When is the next VidCon? Well, why focus on now? Well, if you want to come and see me, well, they happen every June or July. I mean, for now, it's just June. Well, I mean, at this point, I'm only going like once every 2 years. But, I mean, if you want me to go just about every year, I'd be happy to. But then again, I won't have a chance of encountering too many fans, except maybe 1 or 2. I mean, other than just the one that had me sign his shirt. But then again, it wasn't like a casual fan or anything. But yeah. Yeah, I didn't think I'd go on for this long anyway. I've been streaming for like close to 2.5 hours, but at some point I'm gonna cut this off. I mean, it's getting close to 4 o'clock, and I'm gonna go into like a mentorship somewhere. Well, because I'm wanting to learn more about the algorithm, and just so I can somehow at least get my channel, well, I mean my second channel in particular, just to sort of pick up, well, for, I mean, not just views, but I mean just to get the same traction as how I am for this channel, that kind of thing.
Oh, you're live. You're live.
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to sign our job application?
Job application, I don't think I would. Well, what's this for?
Employment. Employment. Just a job application. Yeah.
You sure I'm not going to get any spam from which?
No. Just employment.
Well, I don't know.
Chat, does he sign, chat? Yes or no?
I don't do sign chat. I'm just doing this through YouTube.
Put 1 in chat if he signs it, and 2 if he doesn't sign it.
Okay. So what do I put for here? 1 for what?
1 if you sign it, 2 if you don't sign it, okay?
Okay, so should I sign it? 1, 2 if I don't. I've only got 9 people.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if I should.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just a bunch of BS anyway. I fell off. I'm just trying to get more traction. It's just like sending me requests. I'm a destruction influencer, so
What's your YouTube channel?
it's right here. It's Jackson Ross's BACK. I have a second channel, but it's all for film. I've been doing this at least since 2015, and I'm going to these events like once every 2 years.
All right. So 1 in chat, everyone. 1 in chat. 1. The majority have put 1 in chat.
Well, only 1 has said 1.
Go
Yeah.
on your YouTube account.
What's your YouTube account?
Randy, like, that's my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Oh, another one. Looks like you're gonna have to sign it. It's just a job application. That's all it is. Right, isn't that scary?
Well, I mean, not that it is scary, but I mean, just like my personal information, things like that. Well, I mean, I doubt of which. Yeah,
We're just selling it to Google. They already have it.
yeah, I'm getting 2s now. So
1 chat. 1 chat. 1 chat.
3.
1. 1. Put 1 in chat.
Okay, I got another 1. Why, Matthew? If I'm looking for a film job, but you know, they're asking if I should sign away. Another one. A donation?
That was me. That was me.
How dare you? Yeah, I mean, just there's like a handful that are just spamming me. Maybe just some of those that say 1 or so, but you know, I wouldn't be so sure. But you know, I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, I'm not looking for a job or anything. I mean, I mainly just do content creation. I do films. I don't know if I did tell you about one. I am working on a passion project. It's called Ghostly Jacket, and I'm not finished with which, but I'm hoping to turn that into a feature film. And so, well, it's only a matter of just being able to network and find the right people. So,
Jamie Winters. He directed a movie with Alec Baldwin. Super Show. He's a friend of mine.
oh, really?
You found the job application. I'll see if I can get in contact with you. Okay?
Well, maybe. Well, perhaps if I'm gonna just check the other comments. I know.
Show it to chat. Show the back of the chat.
Don't know if it is legit anyway, but it's fine.
Here's terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions.
It's just a bunch of gibberish. I think I'm gonna tune out on this, but if you do become a fan and check out my YouTube channel and just sponsor like my Ghostly Jacket stuff, like maybe one day you'll be able to see my work on the silver screen. I mean, just if words can prove, like if the folks that did Obsession and Backrooms can make box office gold, then so can I. But I mean, my fans are not showing it just because they're just spamming me with requests, and this is like my way of living.
Put the $13 I gave you towards making this movie, okay?
Okay, well,
Don't spend it on anything else.
yeah, I'll otherwise keep that in mind. Okay, I'm clean as a whistle.
Mr. Sharkow.
Okay, I'm sorry I didn't take up on it. Yeah, did you guys think that was weird? I don't care. Just somebody trying to get me a job application. But yeah, I only said one specifically if I should sign it, two if I shouldn't. But I don't know if it's just kind of a life or death decision. But yeah, I mean, the guy was kind enough to at least give me some money just because I otherwise don't have any. Well, no doubt I will probably use this on my movie. Or maybe put it towards that 1 million subscriber video I have. I mean, I think I've told about how I have a planned 1 million subscribers video I want to do where essentially it'll be a short film, but I'm recreating a scene from a cartoon show. Well, just one in particular where, well, he's stuck in New York and he has a car boot. But, oh. Yeah, well, I know for that I would need a whole lot more if anybody's going to fund that. But, I mean, I'm not funding it at this time, so. Do a talking LeBron James. Occasionally, I occasionally read books, but then, again, it only just comes down to, finding the time to. I mean, maybe once in a while. I know I'm reading the YouTube one, but it's just because I'm trying to understand the algorithm.
Yeah, that's why I was a little bit late. I had to help.
But yeah, I mean, there's that. But yeah, did you guys think that was weird? Just that little encounter? Do you think I would have signed? I don't know. Nor do I care, because I'm not falling for that. But yeah, I do think that gibberish at the back, was totally a red flag, so didn't take up on which I wasn't planning to anyway, unless if I had some clarification. But I'm not wanting to get spammed. I know that there's colleges that do that, so you should always be suspicious. One, I wasn't going to sign it. I was just recording some cats. I'm reading Into the Wild for a summer assignment. I did watch the movie, but it was on Netflix. And, well, of course, if you consider there's that last image of him, holding a sign that says, I've lived a long and fulfilling life. Well, because he supposedly succumbed to fruit poisoning just because he went out into the wild and, supposedly he ate some food that was poisoned, just in nature, and it supposedly caused him to die. Well, I may be wrong on that, but, just something on that. So. Would you like to win a free PS5? Win 2 surveys to win a PS5? No. And I don't play PlayStation because I am stuck in the analog days. And I don't generally care. But yeah, I mean, as far as books go, I mean, I haven't had the time to. But I mean, just occasionally doing so when I can. But if it's just on anything relevant. And most of the time I'm just spending it on movies. I know there's other movies I want to be able to catch up on, but it just depends on my interest. Don't know if I should go outside for here. But yeah, I've just been walking up and down, and I only just had one odd encounter right there. But I mean, I don't dare to go through that again. But at least I caught it. I'll go home anytime. Maybe after I go to just some mentorship. But yeah, other than that, there's really not much to write home about. I only encountered one fan and then 2 strangers trying to get me to sign something, but I said no. I'm just scanning through the comments. Would you want to win a Roddy 2-disc? Well, is it a legit movie, or you just made it up just to, like, try to get me to, you know, put money in your pocket, you know? Just scam me or so, just like what those guys were trying to do. But yeah, well, I might quit in just a bit, but I mean, just because there's not many in the chat or really any fans in particular, but I think I've kind of talked on and on anyway. I need to charge this camera, well, iPhone, just because it's about halfway through. I mean, hence the backpack I have. It not only has my headphones, but also my charger and some other things too, just to get me by. But yeah. I want to go to VidCon. Well, why wait? Well, suppose if you have the money and the personal freedom to. I'm getting gas destruction. Yeah. Just some more spam BS, but it's okay. I'm gonna just see with where this will go. Oh yeah, I mean, since we're talking on occasional movies, well, I'd be curious to know, like, for my second channel, since I do touch up and read scripts on, you know, just underappreciated films, like which ones would you want to see next? Well, I know that one suggested, well, because I only have, well, I put out a poll asking for people to suggest more movies, and one of which said, Elmo and Grouchland, like the cut footage in particular. Just, well, that's only if I could get a hold of the script, but I couldn't get a hold of the script. And so it just wouldn't otherwise make sense to. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm open to doing other ones. Like, let me go around here. Yeah, well, I know that some of the few that come to mind, like, let's just think off the top of my head now, like just some underappreciated films. Well, I think, if not all ones that are bad, but maybe some that are on the worst films, but not all bad. Like Glitter, The Hottie, and The Naughty. Let's see what else. Yeah, well, there are those two. And Problem Child. Well, just a handful of those. Any special Pink Panther movies? Well, I mean, I already did. Well, I talked about how I have trailing. Well, Kirsten, Son of the Pink Panther. I talked about their scripts. And I know that the Pink Panther reboot had a different script. And I know, going off of the photo book that they had, well, just on Pink Panther facts, well, if you watch my introductory video up on Action Jackson, then you'll be able to get the point. But just from that book, there are some scenes in particular that are outlined that have been cut. Supposedly were filmed, but were cut. And, well, some of those scenes that they're on the Blu-ray, most of them are, except for that the scene with the award ceremony, and then a different ending to where you see Dreyfus jump out the car, but off the bridge. Well, I mean, of course, supposedly it was replaced with the hospital ending. Go to the stairs. What's up the stairs? I don't want to go back and meet up with those punks again. I certainly hope they're not watching me. Job applicant scammers are watching. But yeah, I will definitely use that money for maybe another film. I mean, it always helps just to get donations, even though most of that I just get off of, well, just the videos I do. But you know, I think at this point it only makes sense just to make dual income from 2 separate channels. And hence why I did I started up Action Jackson. I mean, I did post stock footage on there, but for the most part, it wasn't getting any views aside from sound effects. So I decided to essentially take down all those videos and basically start from scratch, retool it just as Action Jackson, just so I talk about movies and all that stuff. I don't know why, but I want you to make a gas plush destruction, to be honest. Just as a funny joke for no reason. Not to be mean to the singing monsters community. Maybe. But yeah, all it is just, I'm reading the comments and, you know, they're just not very helpful. It's just a lot of spam. And that's why it wasn't much to help specifically for those job applicant guys. Well, of course they weren't legit anyway. They were just using me for attention. I guess they just punked me. I don't like to. But yeah, it's turning just about 4 o'clock. The meeting is probably set to come up in another 45. So probably about 4 o'clock is when I'll stop the stream. I think I've talked just about enough. This will probably be my longest stream, personally. Unless if I could be able to maybe sit around and maybe get the chance to maybe talk with some influencers and maybe redirect them to my channel. Well, I don't know. But then again, I don't want to be around the people that are smoking. Oh yeah, and I know I also touched up on why the Oogie Loves failed. Well, hence to me opening the stream with one of the quotes from the movie. Well, there's a video on that, and I wasn't able to track down the script, but you know, I mean, those are the type of movies I like to be able to talk about that I know and I could be able to sort of go off of. But yeah, I mean, but mainly if there's something more to talk about than just on, hey, well, there's this bad movie and this is the script I'm reading, but I just wanted to have it where there's more of a purpose to which. Are you planning to live stream Universal this fall for Horror Nights? Yeah, I'd be open to doing more streams. Well, I know for one, what was it? Well, I know that for the Horror Nights, they're doing some other things. I mean, they haven't announced anything yet, but I know that Universal's opening up another ride. And so, there's that. The new Fast and Furious one. And, you know, I'd like to be able to try that, but I doubt you could be able to stream on there or videotape on there without possibly getting your camera thrown off just because the thing inverts. And, well, I also speak of which just because when I'm going to go inside. I want to get past the secondhand smoke. I feel bad not having people talk to me or being able to talk to other people. What is this? I didn't think to bring my business cards, but then again, nobody takes me serious. a lot of attractive folks in emo makeup, but I don't know what to call those folks. I hate all dogs. I could have done some more signatures. I know, speaking of Pink Panther movies, I will say there's occasional movies I do go back to and rewatch, kind of like how my dad routinely does. But there's one I would like to be able to talk about, even though it's kind of niche. But there is a fan film that these group of brothers made, a quartet of brothers made back in 2008, called Shadow of the Pink Panther. And it essentially ignores what came post Revenge of the Pink Panther, but it tells a completely different story. But it's very true to the series. I would love to be able to talk about it if I can, but that's if nobody tries to copyright claim me. Even though they used to be up on YouTube, they had the movie up on YouTube, but they've since removed it. Yes, otherwise been uneventful, if occasionally cacophonous. I hopefully said that word right. Loud and unpleasant at times. But it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, like how I said, being a Pink Panther fan, well, there's a film I occasionally go back to. Well, it's a fan movie called Shadow of the Pink Panther, which was made around 2007, but not completed until 2008. But it's very true to the Peter Sellers films, but, even though it's a fan production, but, I have probably gone back to that like a handful of times, and I would like to be able to do a video on that if anybody are interested, just to share my same niche in just the Pink Panther series. But, that's mostly about it. But, yeah, of course I don't want to give any spoilers away, But I mean, it's worthy of checking out, especially if you're a fan like myself. I mean, before I only just used to watch the films mainly just for a selection of scenes like the Kato fights and whatever. Like, but I mean, over time, I've kind of just gone off of them, just mainly just not just for the story, but just the tropes and trademarks and things like that. But yeah, would you rather win the La Loopsy Ponies DVD or something else? Well, I'm not interested in La La Poopsie. And I've already done away with it in a certain video, and I've also destroyed the Search for Pello. And I don't even care. If you want to be able to check out my short film on that, it's called My Roommate Pello Featherbed. It's on my channel. Well, you have to go on my playlist, but I did it about a few years ago. And, you know, if you don't like La Loopsy, like I don't, or otherwise don't care for, go ahead and check it out. Orange. Hey, Orange. What? Job application. Yeah, let's hope I don't run into them again. But I think around here is to where the event is supposed to be at. Well, just whatever. But yeah, just from here, I'm going to quit the stream because I'm going to have to go to the panel in just a little bit, the mentorship. I may stick around or not for it, but only all for one knows. But it's otherwise been a pleasure to talk with you guys. I do appreciate the guy who gave me the money, even though it probably wasn't for any good, probably more harm than good, but it don't matter. At least anything to do to support the channel, especially since I've fallen off, but it's fine. Hey, Apple, what? Wonder Pets. Wonder Pets, what? Slaughterhouse. Oh, whatever. I'm out of things to say anyway. I don't know where the room would be specifically to sort of, I guess, go off to have a bit of a break, you know, just the quiet room. Because I know there used to be rooms like right over here, but that's like all blocked off. Pro pass only, so yeah. $14 to say one, and that was the guy who donated. I doubt I'm supposed to be back here, but I think this is where the rooms are. Well, quiet rooms, here we go. But yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and maybe just go into the quiet room. But yeah, it will just be right around here. I will quit the stream and where is the room? I think it's down here, actually. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and quit the stream from here. Maybe go down to this liminal space hall. And yeah. I generally don't have really much else to say. I definitely need a break. Got nothing really else to report on. So I'm going to otherwise quit from here. And it was a pleasure otherwise to hang out. I'd be happy to do more of these for those of interest. But yeah, it's pretty much gone on a record for being one of the longest streams I've personally done, even if I only scratch the surface of who I am. But yeah, support my Ghostly Jacket films, whatever movies in which case, but mainly the Ghostly Jacket ones. And suppose then we'll see with where things go. I did check out the recent Backrooms movie, and it was so-and-so. I mean, it kind of ended abruptly, but you know, as a potential franchise, I mean, I do see potential in which, and specifically of young, is how I emphasize to those job applicant scammers or influencers that if young talent can prove with Obsession and Backrooms, if they can make box office gold, soon can I. But that comes down to you guys supporting me. Sorry, I just can't see. I have the brightness turned down. Yeah, okay. But this is just my shirt. If you don't watch them, don't be afraid to. Go ahead and support them. The next Ghostly Jacket will come out when I get it finished. Hopefully July or August. I know I was gonna try to have it finished before July, but I think it's looking into July or August. But I mean, I don't have a deadline anyway. Yeah, thank you for watching Dessen. There's other films besides Dessen drawing. But you get the idea. And then the 9th one will probably be maybe next year or so. I guess it just depends on what I get done of which. But it only just depends. But yeah, I do have the script, but I just need to shrink it down just to make it more digestible and filmable. But that's it. That's blackmail. What are you guys talking about? And why is the sneak peek for members only? Well, no other reason, just because I figure it'd just drum up people of interest. But it's fine. But yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and quit from here. Thanks for joining. Go forth and change the world.